haven't had a big score yet in the Midwest. I'm staying put in Chicago for this one, but if anyone's able to get me out of the hole, it would be wise to recruit the all-time punt leader to take his talents to the Windy City.
What's going on here? What? How's the hot dog? Oh, I'm beautiful. Right. Oh wait, I didn't even get that. Let me get that. What's going on right here? What's going on right here?
Suck on him.
That's right, Ethan's in town, and before I can get his chips on the felt, I feel like it's respectable to wine and dine him. First stop, the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. It's the best ballpark in America, and Ethan's wearing a Cubs hat, so he clearly agrees.
Hey, subscribe. One time.
What time?
After the game, we hit Slugger's Bar in Wrigleyville and take some batting practice. Last stop, Winnetka Country Club, where instead of golf, we play this fun game called Where is Ethan's Ball?
Who's that? Oh my gosh, the troublemakers. Look how cool these are. Modeled on body. Come to the meetup games, you get these. Link will be down below. We should do some sort of giveaway, huh?
We should probably, huh?
Yeah, we should. Kind of cool.
Before the meetup, we end up on a boat, which allows me to get these cool drone shots of the city. Check it out.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video for the meetup game in Chicago. We got the merch giving away. Got Ethan in the background over here. We're at a Holiday Inn. It's Rockford Charitables, and I got a bunch of tables. We're fashionably late, 1 hour, but we're gonna hop right into the games. It's a 2-5, $100 to $1,000 buy-in, and don't forget that deep dish pizza at 8 p.m. Let's go!
With the giveaway merch in hand, we head inside the Holiday Inn to meet all the D-Gens. We end up at the first table and see some friendly faces. We're into the 2-5 for $1,000. First hand of the night, we look down at Ace Queen of Diamonds from the big blind. +1 raises it up to $15. Brandon in the cutoff, he puts in the call, and I decide to 3-bet both players up to $55, to which Brandon is the only customer. That means we're heads up to the flop, which comes decent for us, ace high, although it's monotone hearts. When the flop goes check check, we see the 4 of diamonds on the turn. I decide to bet out into him for $35.
I can beat 6 high.
And he can't beat that, although he can beat 6 high. I turn over the queen of diamonds. And yeah, we're going to take down that first pot of the night. Moving on into the second one, I look down at ace 6 of diamonds now from the hijack. Will in the low jack opens it up to $20, and I put in the call. Heads up to the flop, which gives us top pair, comes ace queen 9 with 2 spades. Will checks it in flow over to me, and occasionally I'll be betting on this flop somewhere around $15. Instead, I decide to check behind and see what the turn card brings in. When the turn comes the 4 of spades, not exactly the best card because it brings in the front door spade draw, and now Will takes up the betting lead and bets out for a quarter. When I check back top pair on the flop, I can't be folding on the turn regardless of how bad it is. I put in the call, and that brings in the 7 of diamonds on the river. Will doesn't slow down, and he decides to bet out for $45. Now, it's possible he has the flush, sure. Possibly he has a hand like ace 9, ace 4, ace 7. I don't really think he has too much ace queen or ace king. And because I check back the flop, it makes my hand look weaker than it is, so I decide to put in the call. Now he turns over ace-king offsuit, so he did in fact have one of those strong hands. Interesting that he didn't re-raise me pre-flop with that, but he can't complain when he's taking down all the chips in the pot.
I'm actually from Germany. I came all the way from Michigan.
You sprichst Deutsch?
Ja, Mann.
Mein Freund.
Du auch. Du hast
Ein bisschen.
Ja, your surname. Bang!
Bang!
Come on,
Let's
baby.
go, baby.
Let's fucking go.
First giveaway, let's see who gets it.
Let's go. You're sharing?
C9, Brandon.
Okay.
Yeah, baby. Let's go. You filming a vlog?
What's up?
What's going on here? There's no filming
hi.
at the tables.
Oh my God. Why are you so close to me?
On to the next one, we look down at ace queen of diamonds from the big blind. Player in +1 who goes by Cornelius, what a name, he raises it up to $20. And the action's back over to me, definitely going to be 3-betting. I decide on $75. Cornelius puts in the call. I mean, with a name like that, how can you be folding any 2 cards? And the flop comes jack 4 deuce with 1 diamond. Out of position to Cornelius, I actually decide to check. Sure, I'll have a lot of the strong ace jack, king jack, or pocket jacks. However, Cornelius will have more of the pocket 4s and pocket deuces. Given the fact that I just have ace high, I check it over to him, and he decides to check behind, bringing in the queen of hearts on the turn. Definitely a great card for me, and I decided to bet out into him for $55. When we make top pair and he checks back the flop, it's unlikely he's going to have a lot of those sets now, so going for $55 worth of value seems just alright to me. Cornelius puts in the call, which is interesting. Maybe he has a weak jack or a weak queen that he improved on the turn with. So when the river card comes in the 4 of clubs, I just decide to put him all in for $90 effective. If he has one of those hands I just mentioned, he's probably going to have to pay me off. Unfortunately though, he mucks his cards, so we're going to take down that pot with a little bit less extra value on top.
Table 2, let's go! Okay, you guys gotta tell me again, how far did you drive?
3.5 hours. 3.5 about?
3.5 hours from Michigan. And they're not spending the night.
No, sir. Class in the morning.
Class in the morning. Do a random seat generator, 1 to 9.
Let's go.
Let's see.
Oh, we're getting this done. We're getting this done. Oh, sick.
Oh, I won it. Nice.
9.
Seat 9, baby.
I told you I'm gonna win this shit. Let's
There you go. Congrats, bro.
I'm about to win this shit. Let's fucking go.
If you guys like these type of meetup game videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and let me know down in the comments where I should do a meetup game next. This next hand's pretty funny. I look down at 10-9 of diamonds from the big blind. Darren, who you guys just met from Michigan, he raises it up to $20. Of course, I put in the call from the big blind. I'm going to defend the crap out of that. The flop comes ace-7-6 with 1 diamond. We have a gutter and a backdoor flush draw, but other than that, not very much happening for me here. I decide to check it over to Darren, and he decides not to represent the ace on board and checks behind, bringing in a board pairing 6. Now, I could be leading out into him, representing all the aces in my range. However, I actually decide to check to him one more time. When he bets out for $20, probably the best play is just to fold my cards. However, I still have that elusive gutter to the straight, and it's a meetup game, so I'm happy to put in 4 more red chips and see if I can get there on the river. Best card would be an 8, and that's exactly what we get. The 8 of hearts, bang, we river the straight. Great card for us, and I decided to check it in flow over to him. Obviously, I'm going to go for the check raise, so when he bets out for $40, music to my ears that he didn't check behind. It's going to be a long drive back to Michigan, Darren. I'm going for the check raise all the way up to $155. He says if you have it, you have it. Well, I do in fact have it, Darren. I turn over the goods. Unless, of course, you have a boat. But just like that, I'm taking down that $400 pot, and what a river rat I am.
Sorry about that, bro. Sorry. God, now he's gonna drive home. He's gonna think about that home.
We look down at ace-queen offsuit from the small blind now. I have 1,200 in my stack, and middle position opens it up to $15. When 2 players put in the call, I conveniently go for that 3-bet up to $60. And Simon, he decides to put in the call for $60. Heads up to a flop, which is pretty good for us. Queen 5-4 with 2 clubs. There's some straight and flush draw ideas out there. But when the action's on me, I bet out for $50, and he puts in the call. When the turn card comes to 6 of diamonds, it brings in hands like 2-3 and 7-8, although I don't really think he's going to call me on the flop with a gutter. So when the action's on me for a second time, I decide to bet out for $75, which seems just alright with me. Seems alright with Simon as well. He puts in the call, so now I got to think about what is he calling me with. Sure, he could have a hand like king queen, queen jack. He also could have a flush draw. Maybe he has some sets, although I think he would have announced his hand by now. Pocket 5s and pocket 4s would have just raised the turn. So when he puts in the call and we see the river coming the 5 of spades, action's on me once again. Considering I don't think he's going to have too many sets and boats now, I decided to bet for $90, and he puts in the snap call with 1 green chip. When I turn over the ace-queen offsuit being top pair, he taps the table. That's a universal sign that we have won this hand. $600 coming my way, and he folds his cards, turning over the queen of hearts.
Yo, Tom, the people want to know, how's Blind Theory Optimal going for you tonight?
Great. The discount code is I'm friends with Tom, masterclass.com/intro to Blind Theory Optimal.
That's really good to know.
10% off, 1,500 retail, you get 150 off if you use the code.
There you go, there you go.
Now.
With Tom at the table, it's time to ramp up the action. I look down at 3-4 offsuit and I'm in the straddle. 1 call over to Tom, who's in the small blind, and blind raises it up to $20. Pretty standard from Tom. I put in the call and the button limper calls as well. We're going to go 3 ways to a flop, which gives me an open-ended straight draw. Tom still has not looked at his cards, but he knows they're good. He bets out blind for $25, and the action's over to me. I could be raising with my open-ended straight draw and represent that queen. However, against a blind opponent, I'm not too studied in this spot, so I just decided to put in the call. We're going heads up to the turn, which comes the jack of spades. Now, if you buy Tom's course, you'll know you're allowed to look on the turn in the blind 3 optimal strategy, so that's what he does, and he decides to check. When he looks and checks, it seems weak to me, so I decide now to turn my hand into a bluff. I want to get some higher cards to fold, like any of his ace and king highs that have me beat, so I decided to bet out for $50. He doesn't look too stoked about that, and well, yeah, let's run the clip.
Out of respect to you.
Yeah, I don't know what you did. Oh! You gotta play blind. That's your forte, man. He knows. He shouldn't have looked. He did it to himself.
I need more fuel. See the blind theory right there?
Yeah, leave it to the German guy to do this.
What up, baby? You should have folded pre-flop.
Hey, come on. Appreciate it, man. Isn't that crazy? All right, what are you holding? Pocket 7?
Yeah, spade and heart.
All right, bro. And I won the raffle?
How crazy is that?
Like,
it was
what
meant
is
to
that,
be.
bro?
It was meant to be.
My guy.
I hooked Justin up with the 5XL one.
Hey, big boys need love too, baby.
Big boys need love.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it.
Next hand, we look down at ace queen of spades from the cutoff. The player in +2 opens it up to $20, and now Tom blind raises it up to $75. My hand is good as is, but against a blind opponent, I decide to 4-bet to $175, and to my surprise, only Tom puts in the call. That means we're going heads up to a flop, which comes jack 7-4 with 2 hearts, and Tom now leads out into me for $100. Having 2 overs, a backdoor straight draw, and the backdoor nut flush draw, I decide to put in 1 black chip. That's a call, and we're off to the turn in a nearly $600 pot, which comes the 9 of clubs. Tom checks it over to me, and I think it's time to steal this pot now. He could have some random pocket pairs, he could have a low pair on the board. It's going to be pretty hard for him to have some strong jacks, so I decided to start betting. To tell the story, if I bet big on the river, I bet out for $130. I expect him to either call or fold. I don't really think he's going to be raising too much, but that's in fact what he does. He re-raises me to $260. It's a min raise, and of course I have to get out of the way, but I didn't really have to, did I? Because he turns over king 8 of diamonds, and he goes crazy.
How does he keep doing this shit to me? I do it once to him, and then it takes it personal.
Yo, what's up?
Let's go.
Come on, baby.
Let's go. What's up, boys?
Jake, what just happened here?
It wasn't mine.
I leave the table. What, from what seat?
Right there.
Oh, good, because I took your chips, so I feel good now. Calm down, it's not going to you.
Come on, baby. Give us the 4. I'm 4 and 3.
Oh, seat 1, baby.
Oh, let's go. Bang.
Bang. I look like an 80-year-old.
With 1,200 in my stack, I look down at pocket queens from the small blind. Jake in middle position opens it up to $20. 2 calls over to me, so I decided to raise it up to $105. Obviously, it's a great hand. I'm going to be out of position the rest of the way, so I want to size up in this spot. Only the cutoff puts in the call, so that means we're going heads up out of position to a flop, which comes jack 10 deuce with 2 clubs. Action's on me, and I decide to bet out small into him for $70, to which he doesn't muck his cards. He puts in the call, bringing in the 7 of hearts on the turn. Doesn't seem like a terrible card, although I could check here for deception. That's what I decide to do. He still could have a lot of the pocket jacks and pocket 10s, so I decide to check it over to him and see what he does. When he checks behind, I'm eliminating those hands from his range, so when the river comes the 5 of clubs, although it does bring in the front door club draw, I need to go for value and target a lot of the 1 pair holdings he might have. 130 into the $390 pot seems appropriate. He snap calls me, which is interesting. When I turn over my pocket queens, he mucks his cards, and that means $650 are coming my way. Next hand, ace 10 of clubs from the big blind. Few limps over to me, and I raise it up to $30. When 2 people put in the call, the button, and shank, we go off to a flop, which comes jack 7-4, all clubs. Bang! We flop the nut flush. Dream spot for me, and I could be checking into the field, but instead, I decide to bet out for $15. Button gets out of the way, and Shank on my right, he puts in the call, and we see the turn, which pairs the board. It comes to 7 of diamonds. Not the best card, but I still have the nut flush, so I decide to bet out for $55. Shank doesn't think about it for too long and puts in the call, and that brings in what quite possibly is the worst river card in the deck, the Jack of Hearts. Any Jack, any 7 now have me beat with a boat. So when he checks it over to me, I happily check behind, expecting to get shown a 7 or a Jack. That's not what he shows though. He turns over 5-6 for the open-ended straight draw. Just like that, I'm taking down a pot that I didn't expect to win by the river. No complaints from me.
So bad, so bad.
So bad. We'll still tip the dealer though. Thank you.
Please,
Wolfgang,
can I have a picture, please?
Smack that shit out of there. Hey, can you sign my shirt, man?
Yeah.
Is this your face?
Yeah, can I send it right there? Right in the sack.
We're going to try to win again with pocket queens. This time I'm in the low jack, and Mateo opens it up to $20. I 3-bet him up to 60, and he puts in the call, heads up in position to an ace high board, ace 5-3. Why does every time you have queens or kings, an ace comes on the board? Oh well though, when he checks it over to me, I still can represent all the aces in my range, so I decide to bet out for a third of the pot for $45. He puts in the call, which is interesting. Maybe he has a flush draw, maybe he has an ace. Who knows? When the 3 of spades comes on the turn and he checks it over to me for a second time, I either could check or bet. Obviously, I'm never folding. If I check behind, he could blast off on the river, knowing I'm not going to have too many strong aces in my range when I check back the turn. So for that reason, I decide actually to go for a bet. Another reason to bet on this turn is I can get value from any of the flush draws, which I like. So I bet out for $65, and he pretty quickly puts in the call. The river pairs the board once again. It comes to 5 of clubs. So when he checks it over to me, I'm very happy to check behind when the board is double paired and there's an ace on board. I turn over my queens, and he turns over ace 10 of clubs. So we did in fact have the ace, and he's going to get rewarded with that pot.
Maury, repping that merch. Let's go, Maury. Let's go. Woo. Oh, thanks for making me money, man.
You're welcome.
Love this shit. 10%.
I just stole bank.
2 hands to go, and we're at the final table. I look down at pocket 8s in the straddle, even in the +1 double straddles, and there's 2 callers over to me. I decide to put in more money. I raise it up to $90, and we're only going to get called by Sam and a player in early position. Wonder why Ethan got out of the way. When the flop comes 7-3 deuce with 2 clubs, it seems pretty good for my hand. Obviously you have the overpair and I have the club blocker, so I decide to bet out for $115. Early position gets out of the way, and Sam puts in the call. If you remember, he's the guy who has pocket 7s tattooed on his arm in the exact same suits that are on my Meetup Game shirt, which is pretty crazy. When the turn comes at king of diamonds and he checks it over to me for a second time, I think I like a bet on this turn for a multitude of reasons. I still can get value from any of his 7x holdings as well as any of his flush draws, so I decide to bet out for $180. Additionally, if I check back on this turn, he can blast off on a lot of rivers, putting me in a tough spot. So I think keeping up the betting lead is important to do on this turn. $180 is the price of poker, to which Sam says yes sir. Putting in the 180 as well, he matches my bet, and the river comes a pretty harmless 6 of hearts. Sam thinks about it for a while now. He goes into the tank for around a minute, which I think is strange. The longer he tanks, the more I want to call him if he bets. But when he checks it over to me, I check behind with my showdown value, and he turns over a hand that I would have picked off a bluff with, ace 5 of clubs. I turn over my pocket 8s, and he asked me what I would have done if he would have bet, to which I say, snap call.
At the river, man.
Snap call.
Really?
I don't know.
Probably. Nice hand. Probably not.
Thank you. That's funny.
I did?
Thanks, bro.
Moving along to the last hand of the night, I look down at ace king offsuit from the low jack. The straddle's on, and I raise it up to $35. Ethan to my left puts in the call, and now Spencer in the cutoff has evil intentions and 3-bets us to $125. It's possible that he thinks my open is light, and Ethan putting in the $35 in the middle is just an added bonus, so if he 3-bets here and gets me to fold, he's pretty much taking down $70 in position. When the action's back over to me, he's not going to get my money that easily. I pick up on the fact that he might be 3-betting light, so I decide to 4-bet him to $415. It also helps that I have a very strong hand like ace king offsuit. Ethan gets out of the way, and the action's back over to the cutoff. Spencer now doesn't take too long before shoving all in for $1,600 effective. Yuck. Action's back on me, and this is definitely a growth spot. $1,200 more in my stack to put in the call, but it's possible he has a hand like aces or kings. I haven't seen him get out of line just yet, so after going into the tank for a minute or two, I decide to muck my cards. Because it's a meetup game, he's nice enough to show that we made a great fold. Pocket kings. I was in a tough spot there, but I made the right fold in the long run. Unfortunate though, he's going to take $400 from my chip stock, and just like that, the meetup game is over. I rack up my chips and head over to the cage.
All right, we're the last ones to leave here. We cleared the building out. That was a super fun 2-5 game. A lot of people drove 6 hours. Shout out to Justin, all the way from Mount Pleasant up in Michigan. We had people come from Germany, people from Utah. All in all, I got into the game for a cool $1,000. Never had to re-add on. Got out for $1,210, profited $210. Sold a bunch of hoodies, gave away a bunch of free shirts. It was a really fun time. Shout out to Ethan for doing this with me. If you guys are watching this and aren't subscribed, please do me the favor of subscribing. Leave a comment down below where you'd like me to do another meetup. I love doing them. They're my favorite part of this vlog. Shout out to my family for coming to this one as well. My first time ever that my family came out to a meetup game, so really special for me as well. $210 profit, not too shabby. I hope you guys run as good as I did tonight. Good luck on the felt. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.